Okay, thank you very much to Ms. Rain for the introduction. Now, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, yesterday when I heard that there will be 36 paper presentation, I was a bit worried because my paper is listed as number 37. But today here I am, trying to make a sharing with all of you as the last presentation of the conference. So on top of the wondrous introduction that has been given by Rainy just now, I just would like to add on that at my research institute, that is the Institute for Tropical Biology and Conservation in University Malaysia Sabah, we do run a Bonensis Living Lab, which is actually a solution incubator workstation based on education for sustainable development in order for us to come up with solution for industries and communities pertaining to contemporary sustainable development issues. So you can guess that today my topic is actually more surrounded around education for sustainable development, that is ESD, because over the past 2 days, I'm sure all of you would agree with me that the most commonly used words and phrases got to be education, awareness, mindset change, of course, besides the two words of flood and food, right? So it means that education is indeed the founding block when it comes to attaining the rest of the 16 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, under UN SDG 2030. And we must acknowledge that fundamental, because everything that we need to achieve under the 16 Sustainable Development Goals, it comes from SDG 4, that is Education for Sustainable Development. That becomes the factor that decides whether in the next 6 years we are going to achieve or not the UN SDG 2030. So that is very important. So under our Bonensis Living Lab, we are using actually a model that empowers the local people, especially the young people or the young working adults in Sabah. Now, just now we learned about the definition of youth, whether it is 25 or 35 or 40. But in Malaysia, I think generally we still accept the age limit of 40, right? So many of us here are still youth in that category. So it makes sense for us to put emphasis when it comes to empowering local people by using ESD for us to achieve the rest of the Sustainable Development Goals. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to do something different today. Instead of giving you the take-home message at the end of the presentation, which a lot of people run into trouble trying to squeeze into the last 1 minute when the bell has been rung. So I want to give you the take-home message first. So the take-home message here is at the end of the presentation for the next 7 minutes to go, all right? What will happen is, I want everybody to remember that ESD is very important, and it is high time for us to give official recognition and also institutionalization of ESD. And with Puan Rahmah here, I think it is very apt for me to make that suggestion, yeah? Because it is high time for us to empower ESD, including people who are working in ESD, that is you and I, all of us here, right? So that at the end of the day, we can tell people that we can catch up with countries like Denmark, countries like Sweden, and countries like Taiwan and Japan when it comes to sustainable development, all right? So what it means by institutionalization means consolidation, standardization, opportunities, so that we can create solutions that is for the stakeholder, by the stakeholder, and of the stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. So if you look at the topic that I'm going to present today in the next 6 minutes, it's going to be Diagnostic and Prognostic Sustainable Action empowers the local people in Sabah, particularly the youth and the young working adults, for resilient environmental care and green mindset growth. And the two showcases that I'm going to present to you is going to be about solid waste. So it is not very much on industry and also economy per se, but of course it has got linkage to that because my stakeholders are people who are in the industry and people who are in the community. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a bit of preamble, very briefly, all right? We know that the earth is having problems. We have already crossed 18 out of the 31 threshold of healthy earth. So we are not doing very well. And we know that education is the fundamental factor, the governing factor to tell us whether we are able to achieve the rest of the 16 goals by 2030 in near 6 years or not. So quality education is my cup of tea, and that is the center of my presentation today, my sharing today. And I think that is also something that is of concern to all of us, and that is something that we need to acknowledge, right? So ladies and gentlemen, we know that environmental education is not the same as EST. Even talking about EST, a lot of us today still do not catch the gist of it, whereby there is no balance between psychomotor, affirmative, and also cognitive. And that is proven by a lot of reports that have been published by United Nations, including the paper that I've done myself. And here we'd like to highlight one phenomenon to you that is called extinction of experience. And this has been highlighted in 1971, but I think it is right time for me to re-highlight it to you that we are having extinction of experience. Even though trained as a biologist and a conservationist, I talk about extinction of animals and plants all the time, but there is something called extinction of experience, and we need to address it. And the solution or the medicine has to be in EST. So like Einstein said, you cannot solve problems by using the same mindset that has created them. And please don't fall into this trap. All right? So we have to change our mindset, and we have to empower that mindset. Of course, Sabah is not alien to environmental problems. And one of the biggest problems is, of course, solid waste management. And we talk about Kayu Madang that receive about 800 tons of rubbish every day, and it comes in single-use plastic as well as food waste. All right? So we need to have solution. And like I mentioned earlier on to you, we do have a Forensics Living Lab that is actually a solution incubator workstation for us to come up with solutions for the society and industry when it comes to contemporary sustainable development challenges and issues. All right? So what we use is actually a model called project cycle management, whereby in this model, the stakeholders themselves become the solution provider so that we know exactly what they want, what they are willing to invest their time and energy in, so that at the end of the day, we can create the buy-in and we can secure success. So that there will be no top-down solution, there will be no top-down forcing of solutions onto the people, but this is actually bottom-up approach so that we can ensure the success that we want to achieve at the end of the day. So this is the model, right? Going from our status quo to the narrative that we want to achieve, from unsustainable to sustainable, and using EST as an important tool and using project cycle management as our output. So the two showcases I want to showcase to you is number one, we have done it with young people in Kota Kinabalu, and we came up with a solution for them, and that solution pertains around upcycling of products and also training youth to venture into circular economy, at the same time addressing the problem of solid waste management, especially in the mismanagement of single-use plastic waste. That's number one. Number two, of course, we have done it with an industry, and this was done late last year and extends to the beginning of this year, whereby we have done it with a department of young people in one of the tour resorts, tourism resorts in one of the pristine forests that we have in Sabah. And we managed to come up with strategies and also action plan for them. And these strategies and action plans come from them themselves as stakeholders. So it is not us forcing it down to them, but it's from them to us. So at the end of the day, we are able to carry on this project and to solve the problems that they have. And for your information, the problem that they had at the time was on food waste management. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the bell, and I'm just right on top. And I just want to leave you with one very simple phrase so that it is easy for you to remember, nothing too complicated, no equations, no formulas, but just a simple saying, local is the new global, and let's do it. Thank you very much.